I think that's a good place to start because the grass court quote unquote season is more like it's over in a sneeze, right? It's a very compact season. There's 3 weeks between the end of the French Open and the beginning of Wimbledon, right? So at best, you're going to get 2 events in. If you do well enough, you're going to play one. It's like, for instance, the Alcarazes and the Sinners of the world, and I think even Sabalenka and Coco. They're all one event, and then head over to the All England Club, and then just start training on the outside courts there. So it's very quick, and I find that it's hard to really deduce anything from the results, for the most part, in terms of how players will turn those warm-up events into into results come slam time next week.
Right. There's just too few.
There's
of
too
them,
few of them.
I mean,
Yeah.
And the grass is hit or miss. I mean, let's be honest. Early in the week it's slick, it's low, it looks beautiful, but toward the end of the week it's a little more chewed up. It's a little more, it's just, do you have the type of game that that helps, or that is enhanced by the grass? And on the flip side, do you have the kind of skills, body type, speed, whatever, balance, that will allow you to really counter a few of them that do? And that to me, as much as the clay helps the clay quarter, and the grass helps the harder, more driving player, I've seen too many, matches on the grass where it didn't really matter.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The better player, be they ball striker, be they court coverage, they found a way to make it work on the grass. You know what I mean? Just, and I think they used to say, "Oh, you can't stay back on the grass." Now everybody stays back on the grass.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm just saying, I've seen that. I've thrown that myth out years
I think
ago.
you have to take like all that out. Like, and this is almost a you can level this up to just tennis in general. The better players generally will win the match. I don't care what surface we're playing on, because tennis 100%. Is a game of adjustments, macro adjustments, micro adjustments, whatever. And being a great player, by default means you are good at making adjustments.
Exactly. Champions
adjust. It's not by chance that the greatest players ever play our sport have all won Wimbledon. I'm just saying they've all won it. So I'm also willing to toss that out. I look at Wimbledon kind of like Monaco for F1. It's very unique. There is nothing else like it. It is that the Monaco Grand Prix is a very straightforward kind of race. Like, once you get in front, you're kind of in front. They're racing in a line pretty much the entire time. And Wimbledon, much like the stripes behind you, straight up and down. We're not. It's not a lot of finessing your way out of. Maybe poor choice of words for finessing, but it's very shot maker's paradise. Like, it's almost like pickup. It is like we're gonna get dirty, and we're gonna see who's got the shots. That's what it comes down to. You're not gonna grind your way to a Wimbledon championship.
Right.
And that's why it's not my favorite slam. I'll be the first to say it's probably my least favorite slam to watch.
Yeah.
Right. I don't enjoy watching the tennis. I can't get into it.
In terms of,
I like the way Wimbledon is presented on television.
Sure.
I do not enjoy watching grass court tennis. I'm not saying it's boring, but of the varieties of surfaces, it is the one that gives me the least amount of feels. What say you?
Yeah. I've gone back and forth on this in my years on this terra firma. As a kid, I thought that was the best tournament around because it was grass. It meant what it meant, right? And I was watching Bjorn Borg, win 5 in a row, back in the late 70s, early 80s. As I got older, I realized, in the days I mentioned Kevin Kern on this podcast before, it became server's paradise, not just shot maker's paradise. So if you could bring it, and being a big guy myself, I like to serve hard. I started seeing the monotony,
Yes.
of big serve tennis, no return, and so on. I went there in '04, and I realized this is hallowed ground, and I said, wow, this is big time right here, and I realized how the history of it all kind of made sense. My my wife was raised Catholic and went to Italy and then visited the Vatican, and all of a sudden she was like, wow, like
Yeah.
she wasn't really the strongest Catholic by any means, but she said she felt a little more spiritual when she got there for some reason, and she's not Catholic right now. But I said to say something about the building, something about everything there. It was years ago, but she made that comment to me in a bit of a joke. But I laughed. I'm like, yeah, a building like that, a place like that will make you feel
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what I'm getting at. Long-winded way to answer your question. I think Wimbledon is it's tied for third because of the place it holds and the in history, and obviously to the throwback with how the game was invented. But it's the last holdout for the shot maker, the big server, the player that hits through the court, and I feel like it holds its place to hold the game in balance. And I say that to say, I wish more players. I wish Wimbledon, the whole grass season, was longer. I mentioned that before on this podcast, because I think it would favor more different types of games and so on. I just feel like if it were gone, or the other events were shorter, we would have an onslaught of grinders on the tour that would not make the game have much variety. If the game was all hardcore, I think that would also be an issue. I just feel like it holds a place to hold the game in check. I guess that's the easiest way I can say it, to keep the variety, because Alvin, love the variety, and I love the change of it all, especially following Clay, right? And I'll be honest, I'm looking forward to another epic battle, potentially between Alcaraz and Yannick. Not looking too far ahead.
Yeah. Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
But I want to say it for this one reason: to see how different that battle will be, or whoever it is in the final. That's my point. It's not about them per se. It's about, we just saw a phenomenal final, one of the best of all time. Now, I'd look forward to seeing, now, how much does the surface change? You remember that match where Fed played Nadal in that half grass, half clay court, right? That was just, everybody was thinking, yeah, but could he do it on grass though? Yeah, but could he beat him on clay? And then all of a sudden they, I don't know how many, I guess 1 million or 2 they made for that one court, but they put it out there, and it was one of the best, televised kind of things at that time. I'm just saying it changes things, and it forces you to your point, adjust how you are good, and the good players will show you.
I'll say I appreciate what vegetables do for my body.
Here we go.
I don't want to eat them all the time. I need to have some.
It's once a year,
no,
bro.
I know. I'm not saying get rid of grass court tennis. I am with you in that we could do with another week. Push Wimbledon back. Have a proper 4 weeks in between Wimbledon and French Open.
Proper 4 weeks. And take a few weeks off the clay court season.
No. Take a week off of the hard court season. We don't need more beatdowns. I mean, do we really need? We don't need the Atlanta tournament. Apparently, it's gone. We're fine. Yeah, we're fine. I will say, so I've been to the All England Club twice in my life. First time was in 2016. I went there before the event. I was in London for part of my bachelor party. It's another story for another day. And I took a sojourn out to the All England Club, went out to Wimbledon, the neighborhood, and it was a really, really cool experience. I took the train out, and then took the little bus, and then I walked up, saw the town of Wimbledon, like
Wimbledon Park.
It's a real town. It's great. Very cute, if you will, and got a chance to take the tour. I saw the museum. They took us into center
Yeah.
court. Like it was, and they still had the scoreboard on from the previous year, Djokovic Federer 2015 final. The scoreboard was still
Wow.
on with the scores on it. So it was like that place was like
Yeah.
frozen in time.
Like a true museum piece.
Yes.
Like it was
Yeah.
still standing in
It was
time. Frozen
fantastic.
in time.
And then,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was 2016. And then 2019, I got a chance to go back for the tournament. And my wife and I were planning on going, but she was just short of. She was like 2 weeks away from having our second kid, and it was it was a planned C-section. So like it was like we had a date, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. I have my friends were living in London at the time, so I flew in. I hit the ground running. Had a great day in London. The very next day, got up like 3:30 a.m. Took an Uber out to Wimbledon, and I queued. I went through the queuing experience.
And queuing, that's a whole
Bro,
experience.
it was I mean, it's like going to a day party, but you're standing up for 7 hours
Right.
before you actually get in. So I mean, like to your point about the weather, like I'm in jeans, shirt, sport coat, and I'm a little chilly, but I'm comfortable. I think we got there about 5 o'clock in the morning, and you're in line till like 10:30, and then the line starts moving. People are being camped out, and the process is the process. I'm not going to go through it, but once you get in, and I got my pass and everything, I'm ready to go. And I saw some really good tennis, but also it was day one, and the place was pristine.
Yeah, beautiful.
I was like, this is. I mean, it was a perfect. This picture right here. That picture is from day one, 2019. I took that picture out on one of the outer courts, getting ready to watch Felix play. And I was just blown away by how perfect everything looked. It was unreal. And
the officials are dressed to the
nine. You can see some of the. I mean, people with the lanyards on. I mean, those lanyards were thick. Like those were no strings around their neck. Those things were thick with gold clasps. I'm sure the clasps were real gold. I was just so every single detail was perfect.
Buddy, they don't mess around.
Not one bit. The downside was, damn dude, that place was tight, cramped.
Yeah. Everything was tight.
It's
the hallways going into where the museum is tight. Going into center court is tight and low.
It's a country club. Like it's just a country club in a very small area in a small neighborhood. It is a country club.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I've never been to the Masters. I've driven past it years.
I'm with you, right?
But I felt like that's what it is. For those 2 weeks, the world gets to come inside. You know what I mean? And the other 50 weeks of the year, you don't. It's their club,
exactly.
That they let us into.
Exactly.
That's how I always kind of.
Funny thing about the Masters, right? I tell this story often, right? So the Masters in Augusta, Georgia. We here in Georgia go down to Augusta a lot for tennis tournaments, right? The old Augusta 2-pointer, top 16, the whole deal. I couldn't tell you how many times, it's more than 10 times, I had been to Augusta as a child between the ages of 12 and 18 before I realized that Augusta Newman Tennis Center.
It was the same Augusta, right?
Was like literally damn near across the street from Augusta National. Not till I was working for you, we went back for a tournament, and then like you and Shoemaker, like one night we just drove back there, and I'm like, oh, so you mean like those trees that I'm looking at from the courts of Augusta Newman Tennis Center are on the other side of those trees is Augusta National.
With all that, with the big thick windscreen material throughout the fences. That's it. There.
And Wimbledon is very much so the same. It's just this club in this neighborhood. And anyways, it's great. Everyone should go. I will never queue again. My feet have not yet recovered, and that was 6 years ago.
And there's several queues. Like people don't understand. There's queues all around the complex to get in at the 3 or 4 different gates. I mean, trust me. The other thing that people don't understand, and I'll put this in there that you probably know, they may have changed it since, but I'm sure it's probably similar. There aren't many hotels, and it's not in London. So you are staying in people's homes, either a room or the upstairs or whatever. A lot of people in that area have built on add-ons, and obviously everything's vertical. It's like New York. There's not a lot of space, and you're not staying at the Hyatt or the Grand Hyatt or whatever nice inn, Ritz Carlton, Wimbledon Park. No. That's London, and you are an easy train ride from just to get out to Wimbledon Park and that whole area. But the point I'm making is it's not like you can just walk, get a hotel, get out there, get breakfast, and take the train or take the Uber cab to where I drop up the front. Everything there is a process.
It's a process.
From the queuing to getting there if you get tickets to go see it, you put in some work.
Oh yeah,
you put in some work to go watch that match.
Oh yeah, it's hard work. It's hard work.
So, and back then it was Hinman Hill. And this is, of course, it was going to end up being renamed Murray Mound.
Yeah, or did they rename it, or did they build another one? I can't remember.
I think they rebuilt that one and made it bigger. Is what I think they did, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I haven't been there a few years. But Andy was obviously in that same class with Sco and with Monfils and the rest of them. So it was a pretty cool time to see it. I know Judy Murray and obviously her other son. Jamie, who's obviously a very good doubles player, and is still playing to this day. So anyway, good stuff, Alvin. I'm looking forward to what we're going to see.